So glad that you're here. I'm the Reverend Christine Dance, and it is my honor to serve the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix as your minister. I've never been more proud to do it than today. This is our first live streamed service here at UUCP, and I am so glad that you can join us. Our community knows no boundaries. We are not confined by the physical limits of walls. We are still here together in space. I see you. I hear you. I love you. And we light this chalice as a beacon of this community, holding us all together, here and now. Join me, UUCPers, you know you want to. Join me in reciting our covenant. And right off the screen is my wife, Karen, who's lighting our chalice this morning. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. We are on YouTube Live, so the big feature of this is there is a chat on the side. Please feel free to comment along the way. It's a fabulous way to build community, and it's the only time your minister is going to say, talk all you want during the service. Carol Benwell is our moderator today. And last night we had a practice and we turned it into a short meditation. It was seen 170 times as of this morning. Today, how many do we have on? We've got 122 people on so far, so welcome. I know many of you are visitors. Last night we had people from North Carolina and Florida and Ohio and New York and California. Please join in with the chat. Do not be afraid of being part of our community. We welcome you. We're glad you're here. I am here. I want to tell you a little bit about where I am. We're in our empty sanctuary in an empty building. It's weird. There are 6 of us here. Our amazing AV team this morning. This is where you would normally clap. Dale and Bill are doing an amazing job. We have Elena on sound. Karen is my personal assistant here. And of course, we've got Mary on piano. 6 is too many to have in this space right now. We are hoping that soon we will be doing this from our homes. But please be patient with us. We are learning very quickly. For our guests, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything that we do. With a special awareness for those who have been historically marginalized, we welcome all of every race, class, ethnicity, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, mental or physical ability or disability. We welcome you, your whole self, your family. Welcome. Especially in times like these, it is important to build a community of kindness and of courage, of caring and of joy. So normally this is the part of the service where we would get up and say hi to each other and hug and shake hands. And remember when we did all of that? Well, obviously we're not going to do that, but I think we can do it virtually on the chat. I would love for you to just say hi, say who you are and where you're from, and greet your neighbor virtually. I'll give you a minute for that. on breathing. Now, I know some of you are sitting there by yourselves and you're looking and it will feel so silly to sing. And do it anyway. The bottom line of this is simple. It's just breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe in love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Hi, I'm Katie Resendez. I'm the Director of Children's Ministries at UUC Phoenix. How are things in your house right now? Is your grown-up a little bit grouchy? Things feeling a little tense or scary? Your grown-ups are a little anxious? Yeah, I'm a grown-up and I get anxious too, and I'm a little nervous. But I think that with the way things are going and the way things are changing, you actually have a lot of power to help grown-ups through all this. You see, because grown-ups don't necessarily know how to do all the things that you do. As a grown-up, I'm not used to being careful about who I hang out with. And a day off of work or a day off of school, I know can be really fun, but I don't know if I remember how not to be anxious about that. And something that I absolutely know the kids of UUCP are amazing at is hand washing. And I need to be reminded of that all the time. And I think the grown-ups in your house might have the same thing going on. So I thought about it for a bit and I came up with 3 ideas that I think that you can do to help the grown-ups in your house feel a little better while all of this stuff is shifting and changing around them. Because as a kid, you are phenomenally adaptable and you are so good at making sure things go peaceful and shift and change and go with the flow. So I'm hoping that what I talk about today will help you think about ways that you can take good care of your adult. Number 1, your adult might be really worried. So do what you can to make sure that they know that you're going to fill the house with art and music and laughter. Adults love knock-knock jokes. Adults especially love if you tell the same knock-knock joke again and 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 again. Number 2, moms, dads, wrens, and grandwrens might get really clingy. And I know it feels great to have that connection with them and give them lots and lots of cuddles and to emotionally support them, but it's really, really important that you have some alone time. One way you can do that is by assigning them a routine nap. Now I know your adult might say that they're too old for a nap, or they might resist and say, I'm not sleepy. Consider having them lay down quietly with a book, or maybe cuddle a stuffed animal friend. The important thing is that you get at least a little bit of time all to yourself. Number 3. Speaking of schedules and routine, it might be really useful for you to create and post a schedule for every day somewhere really obvious in your house. Make sure for your adult that you include wake up time and nap time and sleeping time, but also balanced meals and sunshine and movement. And something adults really need to be reminded of is taking a shower. Make sure somewhere in there you put bathe. Having a regular schedule will help your adult feel like they know what's coming next and might help you feel like you're in more control. Okay, kiddo, you got this. You have the energy and the heart and the spirit to help your adult get rid of some of that worry and relieve some of the stress in your house. I know you can do this. Remember to, number 1, fill the house with music and laughter and art. Number 2, make sure you get at least a little bit of alone time for yourself. And number 3, you're going to make sure that you make a schedule and stick to a daily routine. That way everyone will feel better in your house. I know that you are doing what you can to take care of yourself and your community. And that is so important and it's so amazing. I see the power that you have and I see the love in your heart. And I love you so much.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you all for your patience. We are learning, and I can't wait for you to see Katie's video. It's amazing. We're going to be posting it around everywhere if Katie hasn't already posted it all over our Facebook. So we're going to try the virtual type of joys and sorrows. And instead of hearing about a few people, we would love to hear from all of you again on the chat. So we're going to do it virtually. It's the time of community. It's when we check in on people. So I would love for you to chat in any of your joys from this week, for where you are, and even in difficult times, there's some amazing things that are happening. So I'm going to be following that along and would love to hear what your joys are here. Okay. Hooray for the Perez house being healthy. And we're so glad that you all are here. Hi, all of my friends from out of state. We're also so glad that you're here. And now, if you'd like to put in any of your sorrows, you may have some concerns, you may have fears, you may have actual things that would be happening normally that would be a sorrow going on. And we want to be able to have a space to share that as well. So please feel free to put those in them. And while you are at it, we wanted to let you know that we're making a list of people we want to check on and people who might be able to make a couple phone calls every day. So right now, while you are sitting there, you could email uucphelplist@gmail.com and let people know whether you either have some folks in the community that you want us to check on, or that you could make a couple calls every other day. So uucphelplist@gmail would be great. We're working on all of our pastoral care resources, meals and calls and grocery deliveries, ways to connect, bedtime stories, and things we haven't even thought of yet. Please keep checking our website. That will be our central hub, although you'll see us a lot on Facebook as well. And normally I don't say, let me know when you get a cold or a flu, but in this case, please do. I really want to know if you get sick. There's not much that I'm going to be able to do from here, but I want to know and hold you in my energy and in my thoughts. So I invite you now into a time of prayer and contemplation to whatever is larger than you or has meaning outside of yourself or within yourself. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, God of 1,000 names, Spirit of community that grounds us. We thank you for the power of technology that helps us connect. We thank you for this community that has sustained us before and that we turn to now. We ask you, Spirit, to help protect us. Help those who are most at risk in this scary time, especially those whose health is already fragile. Help them feel our loving arms around them. Help those who are worried about their jobs, their income, their children, their parents. We think of our healthcare workers, our part-time workers, and our social networkers. We give them strength and sleep and our deep gratitude for what they're getting into. We think of those who were already marginalized before this. We think about our siblings without homes, our children who are going to miss their school lunches, our siblings in prisons and detention camps who are even more vulnerable. We give gratitude for those who are risking their own health to help them. And oh, Spirit of life, we know that this is not just something that we can turn over to a higher being. This is the time for us to check up on our people, to reach out to those in need and who we hold in our hearts. We believe in community. We believe in the power of love. We believe in helping those who are not as privileged as we are. We believe in hope. With the belief in all of those things, we say Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe. So wherever you are, I want you to take a moment and connect with your body. Maybe put your feet on the floor or settle into the bed. I love the idea that some of you are around your kitchen tables or on the couch. Take a deep breath. While I recognize that not everyone has more free time now that there is an epidemic, many people are busier, but some of us have emptier schedules than we had a week ago. So I give you the words of Unitarian Universalist Lynn Unger that were written just on Wednesday. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel. Cease from buying and selling. Give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You can hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out with your hands, reach out with your heart. Reach out your words, reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, as long as we all shall live. Let us have a minute of silence. Oh, my beloveds, what a week this has been. Monday, I was like, oh, maybe this is exaggerated. Tuesday, we had a board meeting that night where we talked about how we may need plans, but we just to follow the advice of the CDC. It sounded kind of easy then. Wednesday, holy cow, Wednesday. Everything exploded. Every hour felt like new information. I started calling it the coronavirus whack-a-mole. Following the ever-changing news, building connections with other ministers so we could share information, talking with the board, talking with the staff. I hold myself at home because I'd been in touch with so many people over the last few weeks. Okay, Thursday morning, we make a decision. We're going to have services this Sunday, but definitely going virtual next week. We can settle into this. And then Friday, nope, we're holing up now. Everyone into their holes. Holes now. Services canceled. Honestly, by Saturday, I was just scared and overwhelmed, tired, emotional, worried about people. I started thinking about each and every one of you, and I worried about you. Karen and I worried about our moms who are in their 80s and who are both being quite stubborn about this thing, by the way. And yes, Mom, I know you're watching. Tears were right on the edge of everything I said. Today, I don't know where I am. Mostly, I'm glad to be with you. This has been 1 week. Actually, that's 6 days. What about you? Is it overwhelming for any of you? This is unprecedented. We've not done this before in our generation at this scale. We must remember that the HIV/AIDS crisis, which is possibly the one medical crisis that has been managed worse than this one, did happen. Take the fear and dread that was in the gay community and multiply it by, well, everyone all over the world. We're going to need resilience and patience. We're going to need to find the caring part of our heart when someone is rude at the grocery store, or when our kids are on our last nerve, or when, fill in your own blank. My friends, I find that the only way to refill our reserves is to have some kind of practice to fill them up. And that takes some discipline. So we're going to help you with some of that. We and me and Katie and Benji and Stephanie, we're brainstorming all kinds of things that we can do to sustain you during this time, like nightly bedtime stories for everyone, small group meetings, video meditations. Actually, as someone who left the innovation field to go into ministry, I find some of this pretty exciting if we just didn't have the virus part. So we'll help, but we need you to dig deep as well. So I want you to do 3 things. We're going to make it really simple. I know it's hard to figure out what to do right now, so I'm going to make it simple. 1, I want you to go find a space in your home. Find a cloth. It can be a napkin, it can be a tablecloth. And I want you, do you think you have a candle? Find the candle, put that there. Do you have anything that you consider important or sacred? A memento, a gift, a piece of nature, anything. Okay, we've got a space in our home. I want you to go there and connect every day. Check. Now, we need to think of a spiritual practice. Now, those words seem very lofty. I know, a spiritual practice. It makes me feel like I need to go somewhere and read Nietzsche or meditate in the lotus position or something. So I want you to really readjust expectations. A spiritual practice to me is anything that can give you a sense of groundedness and connection. It doesn't need to be fancy. My spiritual practices are diverse and pretty simple, so I can do them very often. When I walk the dogs, I can connect with nature and take a hike, sit on the back porch and look at the clouds. And this week, Karen and I decided that we needed morning YouTube yoga in the living room. So as you can imagine, the dogs are very much enjoying that. So what is one thing you can do every day to ground you and to connect with you? Have you thought of it? Okay, we have our home altar space. We have our spiritual practice. Check. And the 3rd thing is that we need to stay connected. This is a time of isolation. And if you've ever heard me preach before, you know that I preach a lot about community and how we need to practice being in community and that we mess up and we try again and that this practice is what makes us stronger to take that community out into the wider world. Well, guess what, people? This is what we've been practicing for. If this isn't the time for community, I don't know what is. Just 2 weeks ago, it feels like a lifetime, I said that this is a spiritual community for our time, as our vision says. Well, and I defined what I thought for our time meant. And it's 2 weeks later, and for our time just got a lot bigger. This is what religious communities are made for. And our time is now to check on each other, to find innovative ways not to be isolated, to care for those who need it in new ways, to step out of our comfort zone. Hear me on this one, to ask for help and connection, and to offer help. We cannot do it alone. Well, I guess we can, but why would we want to? This process is isolating enough. We need each other. I need you. We have been practicing for this. Create your space. Do something that grounds you. And reach out and support community. This is our time, my beloveds. This is the time we've been practicing for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And this is the community that the world has been needing. So might it be. The people who survived slavery in this country often relied on music to get it through. metaphors to get through the difficult times. This song is called Guide My Feet, and it talks about the strength we need to run this race, whether it be a sprint or a marathon. We need each other. Please sing with me. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race alone. Or stretch my heart while I run this race. Stretch my heart while I run this race. Stretch my heart while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race alone. Keep us safe while we run this race. Keep us safe while we run this race. Keep us safe while we run this race. For we don't want to run this race alone. Before closing words, I want to ask something of you. Normally after a service we have coffee hour and we talk to each other and check in. After the service I want you to do something. Will you do it? I'll be watching. I want you to reach out to 4 people. It can be text, call, email, social media. This virus multiplies at a rate of 3 to 4 times of a regular virus. So we need to multiply our care at the same rate. So 4 people. They can be in our congregation, in your family, your friends, or somebody that you've been wanting to get to know or have admired that you haven't gotten in touch with yet. Will you do that? And finally, a minister message from me. Please take care of yourselves. Don't go out any more than you absolutely have to. Ask for help. I care about you. I'm worried about you. I want to wrap you all in bubble wrap and protect you. Please be careful. On this strange Sunday, we gather together in new ways, linked to each other through the miracle of technology and through these invisible bonds of caring and love, sharing with millions the wondering and the fear and the uncertainty of this time. May each of us stay well and whole. May each of us find our ground of strength and clarity. May each of us let our hearts break wide open to new ways of caring for others as ourselves. May each of us know, even if we are alone, that we are held in a great big embrace of love. Blessings and care to you. I love you. Go in peace, go in love, and go share coffee hour with each other. Mary, can we have a reprise of that last hymn as we go?